All right, let's kick it off. So, I used to be an artist. Now I'm a graphic designer and a farmer. I run a design studio called Farm Run down in Bethel, and we focus on branding and photography for land-based entities. So I work for a lot of farmers and restaurants and the sort. My wife and I also run Stitch Down Farm, is a diversified flower farm down there, and we grow and arrange for events, mostly weddings. So to me, these two identities, the farmer and designer, are really sensible and compatible. And inside my brain, they are one. But outside, I always struggle with explaining how and why. So my goal here is to sort of explore the relationship between art, farming, and design. So as a kid, I drew a lot and all the time. Everyone told me that I was pretty good at it. But from then and then sort of up through college and high school, I felt I sort of lost that, and I felt culturally conditioned that I was not allowed to be an artist because I wasn't formally acknowledged as such. And so I had a lot of fear and insecurity around that. And then towards the end of my college career, there was a moment where I sort of decided that that was stupid, and I would just start making art. Because fuck it. And that was a big inflection point in my life, and I felt really liberated to not care what really anyone else thought about what I was making. And I sort of went nuts on it. I started drawing more and writing and taking photographs, and I started writing poetry and started a blog, and it was all for me. You know, I found my voice, and in time, it became interesting and unique with a lot of practice. I explored some pretty big questions and learned that art is in the eye of the maker, and if you don't think that what I'm making is art, then screw you. You know, it's your problem. And I really reveled in that identity as an artist. So at its highest estimation, as Milton Glaser said, art is metaphysical transformation. So when you experience a work of art, you are a new person. You have a new perspective. You're transformed. At its lowest estimation, as noted by Mike Montero, who's a designer that I really like, art is bourgeois bullshit. And I don't actually agree with that, but I do understand and empathize with it, because art is not design. Art faces inwards and asks questions, expresses a personal voice, and invites conversation, where design is how it works. Design is strategy. It's directed, it solves problems. And most distinctively, the designer works for somebody else, right? The artist works for themselves. So as I embraced my art practice, I started to work on farms. I got to know some farmers and got to know the struggles endemic in the small farming community. And I started to wonder if maybe my creative practice I could smush that together with my farmer friends' needs. And so I put it out there, and slowly I started getting inquiries from people to create logos and posters and videos. And so I did that, and later I learned that what I was doing was actually called graphic design. And by trial and mostly failure, I learned about the practice and business of design and developed a mission for Farm Run, which was to support the agrarian renaissance. So as I built my design business, my wife and I started a vegetable farm out in the Pacific Northwest where we were living at the time. And a couple years later, we packed it all up and drove to Bethel, where now we grow flowers on a hill farm in the mountains. And our farm is highly diversified. It's a huge amount of work, and there's a proportionate amount of beauty and deliciousness that goes along with that. But the beauty is really only made possible by the pain, the hardship, the mud, slime, guts, and frustration of working with animals and systems that just really don't give a shit about your intentions. So in the last few years, my creative practice has pretty much dried up and become a designer exclusively because there's just no time to be an artist. And so at the hands of this deeply sensible marriage of art and farming, my art was sacrificed. And working on the farm, there's ample time for postulating while cutting firewood or brush hogging or boiling sap. And one day this summer, a possibility occurred to me, which was that perhaps my art practice had not been destroyed, but rather changed form. You know, maybe the molecules had rearranged themselves. And I realized that the farm was a work of art. And the land is the canvas and my labor is the medium. And so the scope of this work is really magnificent and provides both daily and perennial purpose. Further, it transcends time. In the early 1800s, the Bundy family painted our hills with their vision, and now we have the opportunity to build on their work. So the farm is an expression of my voice. It's a vessel that I use to explore universal questions. And with it, I'm able to make visually manifest my philosophy. So it's an expression of me and it, and therefore it's a work of art. But it's more than just my voice, right? Because we farm because we care about the soil and the forest, our community, and our endemic ecology. We strive to operate in harmony with those systems, which require thoughtful strategy. So maybe it's more of a work of design rather than art. And so this is where I get a little mixed up. So there's also this final element of chaos, right? So there's the time that one fox ate 12 of our chickens in one night, or how the insulated pliers are never where you are. And so in the best case, the chaos is unexpected beauty. In most cases, it's temper tantrums. But so I have to ask myself, does farming have to be one or the other? If art is not design, but farming is both art and design, does that make sense? Well, not by the transitive property, but that's never really had a place in my art. So I'll take a leap and make the definition that farming is both art and design. Because fuck it.